Okay, so update time. Couple of little things. Firstly, a correction on previous video, and I said what I was going to be doing on the bike. I said about taking off the front engine cover that housed the alternator belt, and unbeknown to me at that time, it doesn't house the alternator belt on the later models. It actually is a clutch housing, so it's not going to be dry in there, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to get a gasket, but I need to look into that a little bit further. So apologies for misleading. It was the housing for the alternator belt on the earlier models. On the water-cooled models, it's the clutch. The alternator is somewhere else. I haven't got that far down the road yet. As I said, this is all about learning, and if I make a mistake, then I put my hands up and say I fucked up. So at the moment, on a personal point of view, I'm still struggling to get around. My foot is non-weight bearing, although it's not in plaster at the moment. It's now in a boot. Walking around in the garage is still very difficult, and moving around the bike even more so, because I don't want to knock the bike over. So this morning I'm just going to do a couple of small jobs on it. They're all going to be in the same corner. First job is a camera mount. It's a dead easy fit, even easier when you can find where you put it. So this is the mount, and it goes that way round on the front of the bike. You'll see in a minute when I line it up. This hole here is the indicator bolt, and that is where the indicator comes out, so that hoops over, and then there's another piece that sits on there with your GoPro mount, and then your GoPro can sit on that, and it's all hunky-dory. They're not the thickest of materials. They're very light, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue on the weight and strain on the bolts, so should be okay. I think personally I would have liked it a little bit thicker. Not sure whether the camera will pick up on the thickness of that, but it's lightweight, and apparently it only fits on the front left indicator. Obviously it's designed for the GS, but I just lined this one up on the rear right indicator, and it appears to line up, so I'm going to buy myself another one, and I might need to do a little bit of modification, but then I'll have a rear facing camera as well, and obviously these come off fairly easily. The other job that I'm going to do today is the headlight protector, so I can stay in this corner. This is only a cheap one that I got. I got it off of eBay, and now that I've seen the quality of it, I will upgrade it again at a later date. But for the moment, I know what I'm like. I'm so impatient. The second I can get a bike boot on, this baby's going to be out on the road, and it'll be sod's law that I get a stone in the headlight the first trip I go out. So it's going on. It will at least protect it somewhat. So that's pretty much where we are at the moment. Time to make a start. I'll spin the camera around so you can watch what I'm doing. It's only going to be a short video, but hopefully it will just be the next stage of where we are with the bike. There's loads more accessories that I bought for it. Sitting up on the side there, I've got what have we got? We've got the extenders for the we've got these hand protectors to go on. Now I thought these were actually they were called an extender, but when I line them up, it looks like they don't extend the existing ones. It looks like they are actually a replacement, but that's not all bad, because I kind of like the smoked finish on it, because I'm going to get a smoked screen, so it should hopefully marry up with that. I've got the front beak extender, I've got the front bottom of the mudguard extender, I've got the grip puppies, I've got the Denali CAN bus Gen 2, I've got the spotlights, I've got some frame plugs, and I'm pretty sure there's other stuff up there as well. Oh, I've also got the paint for doing the front cover. And incidentally, if you feel like putting a comment in below, I would appreciate it. On that front engine cover, I have got very high temperature silver to paint it with, so it will stay very close to the colour that it is now. But they do these black covers for them that look okay, but I've also got black stone chip paint, so what are your thoughts on that? Keep it silver or black stone chip? Ideas please, or thoughts please. Okay, so first one we're going to put on is headlight protector, so I need to take out these 4 little screws here, and those of you that are in the know, BMW use Torx for just about everything. This is a little tiny T10, so we need to remove these. My worry is that once I take these out, the front cover is going to fall off, so we'll hope that it's held on with something. God, these are tiny. Let's see what occurs. Incidentally, I've just noticed also that the screws that come with the cover are just looking like ordinary wood screws with a Phillips end on, so they really have done a budget job. Yeah, the whole lot of this wants to come out together. So once I get this last one out, we'll have a look and see whether I'm going to knacker the holes for these by putting in the other screws. I might be better off just holding fire. But again, like I said, this is all part of learning. We've got a few dead flies up there. Not too bad. Right. Put that on the floor. Yeah, I know I'd say don't put stuff on the floor normally, but being it's difficult to move around, I'm not likely to tread on it at the moment. So these come with a spacer and a screw, because obviously we need the cover to be away from the glass. That being said, I have had these covers before from various places, and they've literally been velcroed to the glass. Yeah, I'm not overly happy about those. I could put these screws in, but then if I ever wanted to take that cover off to change it and upgrade it, I might not get the screws back in the old holes. So that is temporarily on hold until I'll go straight for the upgraded one before I put them on. So back in there. Now we'll try and get all these little screws in without throwing them all over the garage floor. Obviously we're not doing these all up tight until we've got all of them in and all lined up. I'll just show you so that you can see the difference in the diameter of these screws. That is the little baby that come out. Now obviously it's not the length that's the issue, because that's literally just got to hold on this plastic shield. This one has to go through the spacer. But when you look at the diameter, it's not massively different, but I think it's enough to totally knacker those holes so that these will never go back in. And being I'm going to change it, I don't want to risk it. So that's another lesson learnt. Don't always buy the cheapest one you see. Come on. One particular screw, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. Got it. It's in a very dark shadow. Difficult to see. Come on. This is why we don't do them up tight until you've got the last one in. And there we go. So that's all 4 screws in, and now we can just nip them up. Now bearing in mind these are, I'm not sure what the technical term for these screws is, but it's kind of like a self-tapping screw. It self-taps into the plastic. They don't need to be excessively tight, or we will be cracking the shroud, which we obviously don't want to do. So, I don't know if you heard that on the camera, there was a little tiny clip then, so I just want to make sure that these haven't suddenly clicked into place and become loose. Yeah, that one did. They're fine. And they're fine. So, I'll get my big ass foot out of the way. Obviously once the plastic's peeled off, that was to sit in there about an inch, 25mm-ish off of the main glass, but it won't. I may still use this. I kind of like it with the GS logo on there. Maybe I'll just get some more of these screws that are the right size. Have to work something out there with the holes. Need a slightly bigger head. What I don't want is a bloody Phillips wood screw in there. So that's that one out of the way. So we'll move on and we'll do the indicator around this side for the camera mount. And I've got a funny feeling I'm going to have to move after all. Only a little bit. I'll move you first. So these are the parts, and those are the little screws. Now they're not lilac nuts, so I'm going to put a little tiny bit of thread lock on them that holds the camera mount onto that. And I'm hoping that I've got the camera positioned in a where you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully. Let's put them up there. So. And I think what I'll do is I'll put one in and then take it out once I've got the second one in and put a bit of thread lock on it. Actually, I might be able to get thread lock on first time. Should have took the lid off. Oh no, I can do it. Now this stuff you only really need such a titchy amount. Come on. And it feels like I've got an airlock in here. So I'm probably going to end up with half the fucking tube on here in a minute. Right, let's it's like the nozzle's gulped up. Got myself a little balloon. That's me, Stanley. Come here, Stanley. See if we can put a new top on. It may well be that there's little tubes all sealed. Nope, we're all good. Try again. So, just a little tiny dab on that. Not sure if the camera's picking it up, but it really doesn't need a lot. And with the little nut. Why on earth they didn't make these directly fitted, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to work quick before the damn glue goes off. Get the second one in and then nip it up. Come on. It's no good when you've got hands like bunches of bananas and you're trying to use these fart-ass little screws. Oh. Little dab will do you, as Del Boy used to say. Don't know if you guys remember that. It was Del Boy teaching Rodney how to paint. Come on, you fucker. Right, that's the pair of them with a very small amount of Loctite on. After all, they are very small little screws, so they won't need a lot. And yes, I know I'm using pliers on nuts, not a spanner. But because of the Loctite, it doesn't need to be massively tight to the point where I'm going to thread it. Yeah, job done. That's him on there, and just by sheer luck I do happen to have a spare camera out here at the moment, and he will sit in there. He's not in there properly, but That's how it'll sit on the side of the bike. So let's move round and fit that. Another Torx, this time we're on a T30. I was careful then with my finger, making sure I didn't scratch the plastics. So this baby comes right out. I'm hoping that's a captive nut, sorry, a captive bolt. Now, that way. So these indicators, if you've not taken them out before, there's a lug on the top there. Just a tad. There's a lug on there, which lines up in there. So you put it in with the hole at the bottom. Give it a quarter turn, and that's it, in position and locked in. So now we need you on there. Put the indicator in. Now let's try it. Right, doesn't want to go in that way. I've got all the light behind me so that I'm not in the shadow. Now I can't see what I'm doing down there. Okay. This may prove to be slightly awkward. Need about 3 pairs of hands. Let's try. And I apologise if you can't see much of what's going on for a second. Oh, you idiot. Need to go through there first. Doesn't look too bad. Oh, come on. just want to get a little nip. Here we go. Perfect. So I had to trim the plastic just a little tiny bit to get that in there. Otherwise, the job's a good one. I mean, obviously there'll be a mounting screw that goes through there, and I normally have a lanyard on as well, because I've lost a couple of cameras in the past, and I don't intend losing any more. But that's good. That can stay there. Put the lid back on the Loctite. So I think that's it for today. I was tempted to have a go at putting these handguards on, but I think I'll wait. I've been out here for just over an hour, and the foot is starting to throb a little bit. So there you are, one successful, one unsuccessful, but it's all part of learning. I am tempted to still use that headlamp protector, but I won't be using those screws. What I will probably do is take one of the screws and see what other screws BMW have got the same size that are longer. Otherwise I'll just go to a DIY place and just buy a similar one. There'll be one that fits a door handle or a drawer handle or something that's the same sort of diameter, that won't knacker the holes in the plastic. So a 50% success rate today, but hey ho, that's how we learn. Yep, I shall be getting the next video out to you within like a week, 10 days, something like that. And then once I can move around a little bit more, we can start to do some of the bigger jobs. It's very difficult for me to get underneath the bike to be able to drain the oil out, to take that front cover off. Although once that's done, I can do the front cover on the bench. It's not so much of an issue. It will probably be handguards next, and possibly the Nav6 sat-nav unit, or possibly the Daniali CAN bus Gen 2, but we'll see. So with that, I love you and leave you, and see you all soon. Thanks for watching, take care, ride safe.